Hello, hello, and welcome everyone. Welcome to the stream today. My name is Princess Evillan. If you don't know who I am a streamer here on Twitch, and I upload my VODs onto YouTube / Princess Evillan VODs. So if you missed part of this game or you're looking for other games that I've done, go ahead and check out my YouTube channel. Anyways, today we're playing more Cinderella Phenomenon. I've been low-key obsessed with this game. It's like all I end up thinking about after stream, just the different scenarios that we find ourselves in. So yeah, let's get into it. I'm excited. We're going to continue Claude, chapter 8. So see, now all of our save things say Claude now. They used to say Karma, but now they say Claude, because that's his real name, I suppose. Anyways. Durian's here. She's going to tell us to keep our stance straight, princess. Durian gives me the warning, but too late on purpose. I can see the smile on her face as she effortlessly slides past my defenses and taps me on the shoulder with her wooden sword. I got you. Again. For the last few days, I've been practicing with Durian and Garland because Claude still hasn't come out of his room. The knights offered to train me, and right now they are teaching me about ways to hold a sword. This is slow, but Claude did tell me I wouldn't be able to master the sword so quickly. Claude. He made me so angry that one day that I could not even properly give him my gift. Yet I still feel sad that he is not here teaching me himself. Come on, princess, focus. I jolt out of my reverie and nod at Durian. Okay. I ready myself for her next strike and once again get tapped, this time on the hip. Garland takes over after Durian, and then we do rounds where I try to hit him with certain strikes. They are both good at teaching, but it does not feel the same as Claude's instruction. His lessons seemed less like they were out of a book. Don't worry, princess, it always starts out slow. Lan was just as slow at training, but look at him now. Garland whips his head around in Durian's direction, his face turning deep red. Durian, that nickname. But you're so much fun to tease, Lan. She beams at him and then laughs at his embarrassed face. Our practice goes on for a few more minutes before the knights tell me to wrap up for the night. I think I'm going to stay out here for a little bit. Princess, you know it's dangerous out here at night. If I don't return in 10 minutes, you can come back and check on me. Durian seems unconvinced, but she eventually nods. Fine, but keep your guard up, princess. You don't want to get kidnapped like we did last time, or the time before that. We seem to be very easy to kidnap. I watch the two knights as they head back. I see Garland put his arm around Durian's waist, pulling her closer. I turn away from the sight, ignoring the heavy feeling in my stomach. I'll just practice the swings for 5 more minutes. The only thing I hear in the clearing while I practice is my shallow breathing and the wind in my ears. Something breaks my concentration, however. I see a glimmer of color in the forest and I instantly stop, my hands growing tense on the wooden sword. What was that? I glance around at my surroundings and then I freeze when I feel a hand on my shoulder. It says we got disconnected. Wait a second for it to reconnect. I don't know why it's been disconnecting lately. There we go. It says reconnection successful. Perfect. I could feel someone's breath on my neck. This all feels familiar. Is this Claude? Turn and point your sword at him. We don't know who it is. I'm pretty sure I recognize Claude's hand, but because I know it's him, I also know what he'd want me to do. I duck away from his hand and quickly turn quickly to point my sword. The tip of the wood is at his neck, and for a few stunned moments, I think I've won. Even Claude looks surprised. It's really him. But then Claude's hands have moved, and he has one hand over my wrist and the other on my sword. Good, Evillan. You realized you had an opening, but you broke your concentration. Claude removes his hands, allowing me to lower my sword. I'm sorry, Evillan. I feel my breath catch in my throat when Claude holds out the rose pendant I got for him. I feel my cheeks flush. That's the rose pendant we bought last time. You accidentally left this beautiful thing in my room when I came to return it. Return it? Yes, you left it in my room, and so I only thought it appropriate to bring it back to you. Does he really think I left it there on accident? Why would I leave it in your room on accident? What? I bought it for you, and I wanted to give it to you, but you were acting so strangely, and... Claude's eyes widened, the surprise clear on his face. Evillan, you bought this for me? Why does he look so shocked? Well, we were the ice princess, so, like, before we started hanging out with Claude, we were kind of really icy, so we wouldn't have normally bought a gift for somebody else. Plus, your cat kind of has a flower pendant on his chest, so... Claude looks at me in awe for a few moments. His eyes go back down to the locket. He traces a finger around the intricate shape, his eyebrows furrowing slowly. It's to thank you for everything you've done for me. Evillan, this is beautiful. He lets the chain fall through his fingers as he stares at the rose pendant with adoration. I feel my heartbeat stutter as he turns to regard me with the same gentle smile. He leans forward and my breathing stops as he reaches out to hold up my glass slipper necklace. He's standing so close to me. Yeah, we have 2 pieces. You really are a good person, Evillan. You completed your second good deed. I think some kind of congratulations is in order. Is there anything you want that I can give you? I look up at him and notice Claude's smile doesn't reach his eyes. He still looks so sad. I feel like there's so much I want from Claude, but I do not want to ask for something that might make him sad. Do we want him to smile or I think we want a hug. I think everybody could use a good hug right now. Give me a hug. Claude looks at me in surprise. He thinks I'm being foolish for making such a request, doesn't he? I shouldn't have said anything. But before I can say anything else, Claude takes a step forward and wraps me in his arms. Ugh! He pulls me towards him, and in those moments of silence, all I can hear is his heartbeat resounding in his chest. I can feel his warmth all around me, and his fingers clasp gently at my back. I feel so strange. My heart is racing, and my knees feel weak. Ooh, good choice. Yay! Something like this? He speaks right into my ear. It's a surprisingly pleasant feeling. Suddenly, Claude makes a noise of distress as he steps away from me. All of the warmness that was pressed against me one moment ago is gone. Karma suddenly stops, eyes wide. He puts his hand on his chest and takes a step away from me, his fingers clutching at the fabric of his shirt. Oh no, are you okay? Claude? Claude has a pained expression on his face, only making me more anxious. Not now. Claude, are you okay? What's wrong? Evillan, don't worry about it. He lowers his hand with the pained smile slowly fading from his face. This does little to reassure me. Was it my fault you were locked in your room for so long? He just looks so pained to be anywhere near me. No, most definitely not. I was feeling under the weather. So, Claude's curse, I think, is Beauty and the Beast, which, it makes sense, because he told us a little bit of his backstory where he had met a witch, and not knowing that she was a witch, he dumped her, and she cursed him with vanity. And I wonder if there's a second part to the curse that has him like turn into a monster or something. That would be pretty cool, I think. Where like he's really pretty on the outside, but like at night, or like maybe not at night, but like during some days, like his curse acts up and then he turns into a monster. That'd be pretty cool. And also bitter. Bitter? Why would he feel bitter? It's not for you to worry about, darling. For now, we should head back. It's late and you need rest. I just got back from patrol, so I'd like to rest as well. Is there anything else I can do for you? No, sweet Evillan, you've already done enough for me. He clutches the rose locket to his chest and sighs out a little with a gentle smile. This smile feels real to me. This is a beautiful gift, and I will treasure it always. Thank you, Evillan. Now, shall we head back? I nodded at him, and we silently walked back to the merchant. At least he got him out of his room. When we make it back to the tavern, I feel tired, but also lighter than I have for weeks. Claude wishes me a good night before slowly walking off to his room, holding the rose locket I gave him tightly. Today I'm walking around town to do some errands with Claude. It has been quite a while since we have done this. Though we are here to run errands, there is also something else that drew me into town today. Yesterday, Waltz came back to the merchant and told us of an announcement the king was making today. Apparently, that announcement had been posted for at least a week's time, but Waltz had only caught on to it after hearing about it from the crowds after one of his puppet shows. I'm not sure what this announcement entails, but I feel I need to see the king make it with my own eyes. Is he gonna announce Emmeline as the crown princess? Because that would be sad. I can see more people milling about than usual, which means most of them must be waiting for the king to speak. I have a bad feeling about this. It's not so strange for the king to make announcements, but this feels so sudden. And with everything else that's happened to me, I feel on edge. Wow, Evillan, you made these bags sound a lot lighter than they'd actually be. Stop complaining, Miss Karma. You get valuable experience out of carrying bags. Seeing Claude complain is amusing, especially since I know he can handle the load. I feel like a servant. What does that make me when you make me carry the bags all the time? An assistant? I roll my eyes at him. We're both working at the merchant, you know. And then the thought strikes me. What do you even do at the merchant? Claude looks surprised at my question, but then he quickly smiles at me. I train the knights, of course. I also attract customers with my beautiful reputation. I start laughing and Claude's face flushes. Darling, I get the feeling you're laughing at me. I wonder. We finish up the rest of our errands and then sit down in the town plaza to rest. Claude leaves briefly and then returns with a slice of cake for both of us to share as a snack. I have a lot of things I want to ask him, and now feels like the right time to do so. May I ask you a question? Of course, darling, anything. Do you enjoy dressing like a woman? I don't mind it, really. I appreciate the beauty in everything. You girls get to wear quite an assortment of lovely dresses and makeup. It's quite beautiful. I feel more comfortable in my own clothes, but I don't mind dresses. I guess if you have to wear a dress for so long, you'd get used to it. I have another question. And what would that be? When I was in your room the other day, you spoke about a woman. Were you talking about the witch who cursed you? That's a kind of personal question. Oh no, the woman I was talking about. He suddenly goes silent and lowers his head. His expression fades into something more melancholy, and I feel my heart lurch. Maybe I shouldn't have brought this up. To my surprise, Claude continues talking. Shortly after I came to NGL, there was a woman I met whose smile was as radiant as sunshine. She was beautiful. Uh-oh, disconnected again. Give it a second to reconnect. There it goes. She was beautiful, and when she laughed, everything felt right about the world. Hearing him talk about her makes me uncomfortable. Am I jealous? Claude watches me quietly, as if he's measuring my expression. Eventually, he goes back to speaking. I knew her for many months. Time passed, and I thought we were truly in love, and then He goes silent for a moment, his eyes distant, his expression pained. Well, some things happened, and I realized she only loved me because of my curse. She was drawn to me just as any other woman is. She seems so genuine in comparison to the other women, but in the end, Claude trails off and lets out an exasperated sigh. You were truly in love with her? I was. I've dated many women, but I've never fallen in love with someone who has honestly loved me back. That's going to be part of his curse. So then the last person he loved was that one woman. Claude looked at me for a few moments. He does not speak. Evillan, do you mind if I ask you a question? No, I don't mind. Have you ever loved anyone? My mother, of course. I was referring to a romantic kind of love. Romantic kind of love? I don't think so. She's been pretty icy. Nobody, has really liked her even among her family. So I don't think she's ever experienced any kind of romantic kind of love, especially if she's been told to stay away from people. What does that kind of love feel like? Allow me to enlighten you. What does that mean? What does that mean? He smiles at me, and it is surprisingly genuine. Oh. Another scam call. They like to call me. Let's turn that on vibrate. There we go. No more interruptions. I'm trying to woo Claude over here. It can feel simultaneously like floating and sinking. Your heart stutters and you worry about small things, about offending this other person in some way. You wonder if they'll like it. You'll wonder if they'll like what you're wearing, or if they would prefer a sandwich to a casserole when you treat them for dinner. You begin to find beauty in all of the things they do. Their presence makes you feel complete in a way you've never thought before. You try to imagine life without that person and find that you cannot. To even consider such a thing is painful, so much so it feels like it might break your heart. Claude continues talking, but my mind is already worrying. Though he phrases things in a similar way, although he phrased things in a way that still feels unnecessarily dramatic, I feel a tinge of familiarity. These things he's describing, that's how we feel about Claude, isn't it? Yeah, that's what I thought. Those are the things I feel when I'm with him. Before I can say anything, we hear the sound of hooves and both of us turn. I can see a procession of knights, along with the king on his horse. Normally he rides into town like this, but today he's not smiling and there are way too many knights riding with him. And is that Sir Alcaster? Uh-oh, bad guy. He's got yellow eyes too. Let us go find a place to stand and watch. As you wish. Claude walks with me into the crowd gathering around the king, and we find a spot to spectate at the very edge, closer to the alleyways. My beloved citizens of Angel, I have come before you today to make an important announcement. Ever since I was given this crown, I have sworn to live my life with the people, and to rule all in all fairness, so that our kingdom could enjoy great peace. The crowd breaks into applause. I stare at the king, an uneasy feeling in my stomach, when I notice that there is a sadness in his eyes, though he is smiling. Then I notice Sir Alcaster appears to be hiding a smile. I do not like where this is going. The king's speech goes on for a long minute after that, with him detailing the commitments he made, the goals he set, and finally, his love for the people. The audience around us claps and cheers, but Claude and I are silent. Something is not right. I nod in response. To this day, I keep this promise. I would never break this oath, for it is the foundation on which I rule. The audience claps again, but I am silent, watching the king intently. Unfortunately, the unwelcome news that I bring to you today gives me reason to hand this foundation over to someone else. What? Is he passing the crown to Sir Alcaster? I have fallen terminally ill. What? The king's proclamation is met with shocked and angry chattering from the audience. I cannot hear anything that is being said over the cacophony of voices, but I know that the audience is dissenting. I stiffen as I stare at the king. He's lying. I can tell by the firm set of his jaw and the way his eyes flicker across the crowd faster than they ought to. The king has lied to me so many times before that I can recognize when he does it. I know that this unfortunate news must come as a shock, but this is an illness for which there is no current cure. As for the question of my successor, he trails off for a few moments, and I think I see something in his eyes that hints at urgency, but I'm not sure why. Crown Princess Evillan is unmarried and still too young to rule on her own. I feel a pang of irritation and confusion. Another lie, Evillan could rule just fine with the help of Sir Mithras and the others. After much thought, I have come to the conclusion that our kingdom, which still continues to face danger from the witches, is best put in the capable hands of Commander of the Order of Caldera, Sir Alcaster. What? You're just gonna hand over the throne like that? I cannot hide my shock. The rest of the audience reacts similarly, their sudden outburst a testament to their confusion. While I will be providing support and assistance from the sidelines, I cannot in all good graces continue to wear this crown when I know I cannot serve my people as they deserve. Simply put, I believe that the witches have gained more power in the recent months, and that Sir Alcaster is best suited to deal with these conflicts. The fairy tale curse runs more rampant these days, and there have been more reports of incidents involving magic. The murmuring continues, except now the townsfolk sound panicked. This cannot be true. I do not miss the reluctance in the king's next words. Sir Alcaster has also suggested a number of remedies to our laws, especially concerning our security and work hours. I believe that Sir Alcaster can better rule this country in these turbulent times. Please show him all the love and loyalty you have shown me. That bastard. Claude has a foul expression on his face, and his words feel heavy, even in a low whisper. I know the king. He takes every duty upon himself, and he would never hand his crown to someone else. Do you think he's being manipulated? Well, he's being manipulated, but I wonder if he's being, mind controlled or something. Once Sir Alcaster comes to stand on the podium, he silences them with a glare. Ew. Citizens of Angiel, I swear to you that I will serve you as well as Gennaro has. That being said, I also believe some changes will need to be made. Sir Alcaster continues to speak. He mentions things like curfews for safety, extended work hours, and additional taxes to go toward the knights, but I'm slowly beginning to block out the drone of his voice. What is going on? No, Alcaster must have done something to force the king into this charade. The king stands behind Alcaster with his hands clasped, his eyes alert, but there is a helplessness to them I have never seen before. It isn't long before the crowd's unsettled murmuring becomes agitated whispering. I'm stunned when Claude cups his hand to his mouth and starts shouting. There is only one king! King Gennaro! Claude grips my hand and starts leading me around the outskirts so that the people cannot spot him as he continues to shout. The crowd begins to chant along with Claude, and then they draw nearer to the stage where my father and Alcaster are standing. There is only one king, King Gennaro! There is only one king, King Gennaro! Let's go, Evillan. The crowd is right next to the platform now, and the chant carries on. Claude pulls me behind him, but my mind is on my father, on his desperate eyes. Hours later, the merchant's tavern is chaotic. People are talking over each other, trying to relay the scene that they saw in town today. Every visitor here is talking about what they witnessed. I have been in the corner of the room this entire time, trying to understand everyone, but failing. Delora and Parfait are not here to calm all of this chaos. Hey, princess, how are you feeling? I almost jump when I hear Rumpel's voice. Surprised? I can feel when a damsel is in distress, milady. So, I think it's really interesting that we get to see so much of the other characters, even though we're following Claude's route. It's very interesting that we get to see so much of Rumpel and Waltz and everybody else. We haven't seen a lot of Rod, and we haven't seen any of Fritz at all. So, but I think that's based off location. Because Rod and Fritz would be at the castle. I'm really not in the mood for your flirting, Rumpel. Oh, my apologies. I thought you might have wanted some cheering up. Where's your partner? He went out to town to survey the situation. Karma doesn't do anything around the tavern, but he does a whole lot for you, doesn't he? I suppose that's the least a man in love can do. I feel myself blush. What is Rumpel going on about? Princess, you're pink. I am not. My mind feels all scrambled now. This is all Rumpel's fault. Thankfully, before Rumpel can continue talking, the door opens and Delora walks inside to call all the merchant boarders into the reception room. When I step into the reception room, I'm surprised to see two familiar figures standing beside Parfait. Oh, it's Emmeline and Rod. We were just talking about you two. Both of them look downtrodden and discouraged. Everyone is noticeably shocked as they step inside. The prince and princess, where did they come from? What is happening at the palace? What of Queen Ophelia? We need silence in the room, everyone. Delora raises her voice, effectively causing everyone to pause. She glances at Parfait, who nods, and then turns to look at Rod and Emmeline. Princess Emmeline, if you would tell everyone what you told Laura and I. The room is unnaturally quiet as Emmeline begins her story. She starts with the events of 1 week ago. In the middle of a family dinner, Alcaster burst in with soldiers and seized her, Rod, and Ophelia in front of the king. Sir Alcaster said if the king didn't hand over his crown, he would kill us. Whoa, that's intense. We had no idea a coup would be staged. The three of them were taken down to the prison cells, with Ophelia taken to a separate cell. Sir Fitzgerald helped us escape, but only just barely. Fritz, are you openly disobeying your father? I hope he's safe. Alcaster wanted to kill the king. I'm sure that he still will. But he has no reason to. The king has already handed over his crown. I speak before even realizing. Everyone stares at me, including Rod and Emmeline. Alcaster is a foul man. I only suspect he usurped the throne now without violence because he wants less resistance from the people. He never spoke up to my father before. Did you just say father? Oh yeah, Emmeline's not cursed, so she doesn't know anything about us. It's a long story, Em. Emmeline looks between Rod and I, her expression confused. You know each other? We do. Emmeline looks like she wants to say something, but she remains silent. Our mother is still inside the palace. We need to save her somehow, and Sir Fitzgerald. What happened to Fritz? We don't know. He helped us escape, but we were both spotted at the last minute. He told us to run ahead and leave him behind. We didn't see him again after that, and we just couldn't wait, so Rod brought me here. Right now we need to piece together the situation as quickly as we can, and then we need to figure out a way to save the king. I knew Alcaster was up to something, but I never thought he would escalate into this. Jurian, what do you know about this? Garland and I weren't stripped of our titles because we disobeyed Alcaster's orders. It was because we overheard Alcaster plotting something, and tried to tell the king of his plot. We gave him a warning, but the king did not believe us, not with Alcaster and Mithras whispering in his ears. The king didn't think Alcaster was possible of such a betrayal. He thought we were trying to turn him against Alcaster for our own gain. And so Alcaster stripped of us our titles and banished us from the palace. Lady Parfait found us, and while we were happy to help out at the tavern, we also intended to eventually do something about the mess in the palace. So Alcaster has been planning to do this all this time? It's a long time of planning. I guess that's what happens when your Order of Knights tries to throw a coup against you. When we part for the night, Parfait and Delora take Rod and Emmeline to a room that they can share. It has been decided that they will be harbored here at the Marchant, a place that Emmeline apparently knew about but never came to because she wasn't cursed. Well, Rod did say his family knew he was cursed. I noticed Emmeline look at me many times throughout the night, but she never asked me anything. The next few days are a muddled mess. Everyone is busy trying to find out what happened and what can be done to help the king. I am sweeping the tavern half-heartedly one day, my thoughts on everything but my chores. Everyone has been trying to do something to help out the last few days. Though I've gone on quite a few trips into town with Claude to search for information, I haven't been able to find much. I feel so useless. I'm finally on my break, so I decide to go to the reception room to rest. When I step inside, I notice Emmeline sitting on the couch. She waves me over as soon as she sees me. She hasn't really openly spoken to me since she's been here. Parfait and Delora have been trying to hide her so as not to cause a ruckus in the Marchant. Rumors are dangerous now. You're Evillan, right? Yes. Rod told me about your curse. He said you're the king's blood daughter. I'm really sorry. I'm shocked by Emmeline's sudden outburst. What? I didn't mean to, but I took your place. How could I forget my own sister? We're not blood related. That doesn't matter. I would love you regardless. I'd like to believe that Emmeline is a pure and, safe character, but I keep thinking that she's gonna turn evil at some point. Emmeline was always trying to take me out and do things with me back when I was still in the palace. I distanced myself from her because I thought the king loved her more than he loved me. I still think that maybe he does. We weren't close. Oof. I barely spoke to you or to Rod. Didn't he tell you that? He did. But perhaps now we can turn over a new leaf? Emmeline is as stubborn as always. I have more things to worry about than being her friend. I have to go. I walk off before the conversation can continue. Oof. If I hadn't been cursed and remained in the palace, would Sir Alcaster have taken me hostage too? Ooh, there's a lot to think about. The hours tick by, and as the tavern is emptied for the day, Delora calls everyone together to explain what she and Parfait have pieced together about the situation. Alright everyone, we've come upon some new information. The first is that Alcaster has cracked down on the riots in town. Anyone seen protesting under his rule is thrown in prison. The king always valued the people's opinions. Alcaster does not want opinions. He only wants to rule with an iron fist. Our patrols have shown that there is overall more security in the palace and around town. They have been charged with keeping people quiet in whatever ways they possibly can. As we heard from the prince and princess, things are most turbulent in the palace. The king is still alive, but it is unlikely he will stay that way for very long. One thing is clear, given Alcaster's motives to take over the kingdom, I doubt he will rest until the king is dead. The king's men have turned against him, and even if there are loyal soldiers still left in the palace, we cannot contact them right now. Rescuing the king and queen will be on us then. We just so happen to have people in this tavern that have a shot at rescuing them. Prince Rod has the key to a secret passage we can use to break into the palace. Secret passageway? But only the king and the commander of the knights have a key to the passage, so how did he get a copy? Interesting. Who's going to join us on this mission? Julian and Garland both volunteer immediately, shortly followed by Claude and Waltz. I'll go too. The room goes quiet as I step forward and volunteer. Princess, we can't just allow you to put yourself in danger. I look at Claude, who is staring at me, shocked. I took up the sword so I could protect those who I care about. Princess, you don't nearly have enough practice. But I can still help. I still have time to learn. I agree with Parfait, Princess. The palace isn't the place for you to try out your newfound sword skills. Then you may as well chain me up, because I refuse to stay here while you all go save the king. Princess, we're rather stubborn, aren't we? Well, she has been practicing with the rest of us. Don't encourage her, Julian. But it's not like any of us can stop her anyway. You're right, the princess is quite stubborn, hard-headed. Yeah, that's what I thought. Claude agrees with Julian, but I can tell he does not like the idea of me going along with them. If only we had the time to get reinforcements from Karma's country. Karma's country? Brigantia. How is it possible that a Brigantian citizen can simply ask for reinforcements? Oof. Karma is the crown prince of Brigantia. Well, Waltz, aren't we just revealing all people's secret information, aren't we? There's some shuffling in the room as everyone turns to gawk at Claude. Rumpel, Anise, Rod, and Emmeline all look shocked by this revelation. You're the lost prince? Lost prince. It sounds like such a tragedy, doesn't it? Anise suddenly looks distressed as she fiddles her thumbs. All this time and I never knew. I'm so sorry, Your Highness. There's no need for formalities, Anise. But I am the lost prince after all. I kept my lineage a secret because right now I'm just a normal commoner. But you're the prince. Couldn't you still ask for reinforcements? Even if I did ask for reinforcements, I'm pretty sure they would never come in time. Besides, I can't go back to my kingdom yet. He cannot go back while he's still cursed. The conversation continues in a more solemn tone. Eventually, we start speaking of our plan to enter the palace. When the details are all finalized, I repeat everything to myself to make certain that I know what is meant to happen. To give us the rundown of what's going to happen. Waltz will lead us to the palace then, and Jurian and Garland will follow right behind him, watching for the most immediate enemies. Leave it to us. We'll deal with any resistance before it touches you, Princess. And Karma will be watching from the back, along with Delora. A witch and a prince for backup. Delora smiles wryly. Claude rolls his shoulders. I'd like to think of us as more the closing act. Though if all goes according to plan, we will have no need for either the opening or closing act. It is a small task force, which is better. The smaller the better. The last thing we want is to be noticed. Again, which is why I don't think it's a good idea for you to go along, Evillan. We decide to meet again over the course of the next week to finalize our plan and carefully survey the situation in town before parting. Claude is taken to trading me, Jurian, and Garland at the same time. Just the other day, he had all of us attack him together. Even though I am nowhere near as good as a trained knight, I still managed to hit him once. I feel like things are coming to some sort of conclusion, and yet I still haven't done 3 good deeds. Today we finalized our plan for getting into the palace. We have mapped out where the king and Ophelia must be in prisons, where the guards might be positioned, and how we plan on sneaking in. I sit down on my bed and about to lay down when I hear something. Hello, love. Hey, it's Claude! What's up, Claude? My, you're red. Were you thinking about me? Yes, always. I noticed that he has one hand on his chest tonight, but then he has been doing that more often lately. I notice it during practices and sometimes when I catch his eyes. Is he sick? Darling. I shake my head at the sound of Claude's voice. What if I was changing? You could have not. Well, you didn't seem to have a problem when you walked in on me changing without announcing yourself. That's very true. That's different. He strolls inside and steps closer to me. He smiles at me mischievously. Oh, how so? Cat got your tongue? Cat's got my tongue. Goodness. Claude shakes his head, his smile softening. I really didn't mean to come in to disturb you, but I just have something important I needed to say to you. Claude kneels in front of me and furrows his eyebrows. What's going on, Claude? I want to insist you reconsider going to the palace with us. As Perfet and Dolores have said many times, it will be dangerous. Nothing you say is going to change my mind. I want to do what I can to help everyone. Yes, and that terrifies me. Huh? Terrifies you? If your stubbornness leads you to putting your neck out there for someone, I would never forgive myself for your injuries. If you want to help me, stay here where you'll be safe. I'm not some damsel that needs to be protected. Evillan, all I want is for you to stay safe, so that when we save your father, you can face him with a smile. I won't be able to face my father unless I am one of the people to save him. Stubborn as always. I sigh, irritation welling up in my stomach at the look on Claude's face. He's calling me stubborn, but he's being stubborn about this. You said I've improved with my sword fighting. You have. You've improved so much because of your resilience and drive, and because you're genuinely interested. It's because I have a good teacher. Ha, your compliment is gentle music to my ears. Your compliments mean a lot to me, Evillan. My eyes fixate on his soft smile, and at the gentle crinkle in his eyes. Our eyes lock for a few moments, and I'm aware of a slight energy between us. I glance away hurriedly, not entirely sure of what would happen if I kept staring at him. My heart beats unsteadily in my chest. Earlier today, I comforted your sister when she started crying about the things that happened in the palace. Emmeline? Why would he comfort her? I saw her crying downstairs in the reception room earlier today without anyone there. She's a rather sweet girl. I keep thinking that the two of you are completely different. You're both strong-willed and stubborn, but she wears her emotions on her sleeve while you keep it all inside of you. I'm not hiding anything, if that's what you're implying. Mother always told me crying was weak. Claude steps up and leans forward, but before I know it, I'm in his arms. Oof. Evillan, I'm always here for you. I feel flustered again. And my mind feels foggy. I can barely comprehend what's on my mind or in my heart. We're gonna say thank you. We're gonna say thank you. You never need to thank me, Evillan. But you've done so much for me. It's not just the sword fighting, it's your patience, your company, your saving me when I needed help. That's not true. I'm pretty sure I'm the most selfish person in this tavern. All I ever want is things for myself. I've never thought you were selfish, Claude. Ha! Good points! We got good girl points. Hell yeah! Get it, Evillan. He puts a hand to my cheek and looks at me solemnly. You don't think that me wanting you is... Oop! Suddenly, he steps back, his hand on his chest again, his breathing heavy. I stare at Claude with wide eyes. Claude, are you okay? I'm fine. He sighs out slowly, but he sounds obviously pained. I'll go get Anise. No. I'm fine. I swear, it's just a spell of dizziness. But you... He smiles a small, tight-lipped smile before he straightens and shakes his head. His hands are visibly shaking. I must be tired. But Claude, do not tell anyone about this, okay? I don't want them to worry. Why is he always so stubborn? He's obviously in pain. I clench my hands into fists as I frown at him. Why must you always be so secretive? You're keeping something from me, Claude. I'm sorry, Evillan. Claude abruptly leaves the room, leaving me with my fragmented thoughts. I wonder what's going on with Claude. Ooh, the rescue. Okay, it's time to rescue the king and Ophelia. Today I will land another hit on you, Karma. If you can, darling, I welcome the challenge. At least he's back to sword fighting and stuff, and not just hiding in his room anymore. Princess, your side is open. Oof. I bring my sword up closer to my side as Garland strikes me. Tonight is the first night I get to use a real sword as opposed to a practice sword. The sounds of metal clashing echoes into the night. Is this what a real battle feels like? We've been practicing under skirmish conditions for the last few days. Since tomorrow is the day we enact our plan, we are doing some last-minute practice. Remember, fighting back to back is better than doing it alone. Claude dodges Jurian's sword as he speaks, but I notice that he seems to be taking special care to not look in my direction. He's been fine for the last few days, but I'm not sure when his pain will return. If only he would tell me what is wrong with him. When Claude finally calls the end of practice, we are all exhausted. Good job, everyone. You'll all be fine tomorrow. Garland turns to face me, a soft expression on his face. And if it comes down to it, Jurian and I will protect you. Garland looks over his shoulder at Claude. Both of you, that's our job as knights. I'm quite capable of protecting myself, but I do appreciate the offer. It's late, we should all get some rest. The two knights excuse themselves, leaving me with Claude. Evillan, you should go to bed. Princess? I have a feeling I won't sleep much tonight anyway. Be that as it may, you should still try. I'm about to retire for the night as well. Ooh. I kind of want to keep practicing because I want us to be well equipped for tomorrow. I don't think he's going to want to talk to us. I think the only thing that we can do is want to keep practicing. Princess, if you overexert yourself, your reflexes will be slow tomorrow. But I'm nowhere near as good as Jurian and Garland. You sure you won't reconsider going, Princess? No, so please stop insisting I reconsider. I will go to save my father. Claude sighs out, then leans forward to set a hand on my head. Evillan, promise you'll stay behind me if we're attacked. And if at any point it looks like we might not make it, you're to run as fast as you can back to the marchand. But that is cowardly. Evillan, don't you remember what I said before? Sometimes running is the right thing to do. Never run into an impossible situation. Instead, live to fight another day. Promise me you'll stay behind me, Evillan. Give me a peace of mind. I promise. We're going to stay behind Claude, because Claude's going to save us. He's got protag rules, so he's not going to die, I don't think. So I promise, I'll stay behind you. If it'll make him feel better before going into this mission, I cannot deny his request. Claude's expression softens as he moves away from me. I'll stay behind you. Yes! Good girl points. Fuck yeah. Thank you, Princess. Let's attempt to sleep in preparation for tomorrow. When this is all over, I'll pry Claude's secrets out of him. Ew, this is gonna be so good. Tonight is the night. Everyone is just about ready to go. I can't get this feeling of foreboding off my chest. Everyone is gathered close to the door, ready to see us off. Everyone except Princess. Rumple suddenly appears, Anise coming up to stand right next to him. What are you two doing here? Well, of course we came to wish you good luck, just like everyone else here. We'll be waiting for you tonight so that we can celebrate everyone's return. Be careful. Emmeline, who has been everywhere with her brother since they came here, is standing right beside him now with a smile. I will pray for your safe return. Her smile wavers, and I can tell she is uncertain. She is the great knights of Caldera, 2 witches and a prince. She'll be fine. Rod's responses are curt as usual, but I cannot help but notice the hesitance in his voice. Even though he stares at me without expression, I think I can see a tinge of worry in his eyes. Rest assured that we will keep the princess safe. We're not going to let Alcaster get away with what he did to Angel and its royal family. Parfait steps forward last. She and Delora glance at each other, and I feel as if some secret message bounces between the two of them. Delora nods ever so slightly before Parfait turns to the rest of us. Her eyes eventually fall on me. You've changed since you've been here, Princess, but your dedication and resolve never wavers. It has always been there, just beneath the surface. Stubbornness or resolve? It is as if Parfait is able to read my thoughts. She smiles as she sets a hand on my shoulder. Your dedication is very much like King Gennaro's. You are proud and honorable, and always take steps in the right direction. That is why I know you will be back tonight. Just as Rumpel said, we'll all be waiting for you, all of you. Stay safe tonight. I nod my head as everyone gathered around begins to repeat their hearty goodbyes. It is Delora who walks away first. We all follow behind. The night has just begun. Here we go. Rescue time. Our way to the palace gates is uneventful, but we pause some distance away from them to take shelter in a nearby alley. There are knights everywhere. Waltz points to what looks like a regular section of the wall. There's the hidden door to the tunnels. If we make it right between the knights' patrols, we should be able to make it. On my signal, Claude puts a hand on my shoulder and squeezes. It is an abrupt gesture and doesn't last long, but the motion calms my nerves somewhat. We will be fine. Our footsteps echo in the tunnel. Standing in front of me are Jurian and Garland, who are flanking Waltz. Dolores stands beside me, and Claude is at my back. This small tunnel makes it seem like we brought a lot of people. This way. We silently follow Waltz's instructions. How is it that Waltz knows about these tunnels? I've already taken into account the guards and where they might be positioned based on Prince Rod's information. We should be alright. Garland and I will act as distractions if needed. Princess, leave most of the fighting to us, if there's any to be done. I know, I will only fight if I need to. If only I wasn't cursed, I'd be able to fight to my full extent. I still think you're quite capable without all your magic, puppeteer. Oh, a compliment? It's an honor, Miss Karma. I'm only in this dress because of Jurian, you know. Jurian crosses her arms and cocks an eyebrow at Claude. I wouldn't fall in love with you no matter what you say. That's what they all say. We're here. Suddenly everyone goes quiet. I feel a lot heavier as I stare at the staircase in front of me. This should lead to the throne room. I did not know we had a secret passage in the throne room. How much does Waltz know about the palace? Yeah, why does Waltz know so much about the palace? Immediately after we step into the throne room, we split apart to avoid the guards' gazes. I stick close to Claude and Waltz as Delora conjures a blanket of shimmering fog that envelops the guards. Ooh, magic. Our first chance seeing some actual magic. We watch as the guards' eyes close before they slump to the ground. Delora drops her hands once all the guards are truly asleep. Amazing how intolerant humans are to magic. Let's keep going. Getting to the palace is no easy feat. Hallways that were easy to get through before are difficult to traverse now with all the soldiers standing around. Delora casts a spell to silence her footsteps and quiet muffles, but moving is still difficult, especially with such a group. Eventually we arrive just outside the tunnels that should lead to the castle's prison. I'll stand watch. Be careful, Waltz. I will. We enter another network of tunnels. Jurian, Garland, after you. Jurian glances at me briefly, and then Claude, who nods a little stiffly. We'll be right back. In accordance with the plan, Claude and I are left at the halfway point of the tunnels to ensure a clean escape as Delora, Jurian, and Garland continue on to the prison. They should be fine, but I'm still worried. My eyes wander to Claude, and I bite down on my lower lip when I notice that his hand is once again raised to his chest. I find myself reaching out to grab Claude's hand, but he swiftly pulls it away. The glare on his face takes me by surprise. Why is he so angry? Claude puts a hand to his chest and flinches as he leans on the wall. Not now. His voice sounds pained. What is he talking about? Claude? I just need some space, princess. But I'm fine. Uh-oh. I cannot help but feel irritated at the way Claude has snapped at me. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be this way. It's... He trails off, his eyes distant. Because of your curse, right. Most of the time he's sociable and pleasant to talk to, but then he reverts to this state. It's like he is two different people. I cannot understand why he is like this. Why do I care so much for someone who keeps secrets? Evillan, I wish I could explain, but if I did, you would hate me. Or more accurately, you'd be afraid of me. I could never be afraid of you. I don't think I could ever be afraid of you. This is a tough one. Well, he's not going to answer if we ask, why would I be afraid of you? He's not going to answer. It has to do with his curse. The only reassuring thing we can say is, I would never be afraid of you. So that's my logic. What is there to be afraid of? Claude wears a pained expression as he looks at me. I see him once again grabbing at the collar of his dress, looking like he's in some kind of quiet agony. That's what she said too. Oh, the ex-girlfriend. Is he talking about that one woman from before? The one who didn't love him? He thinks I'm the same. I am not like her. Huh? Yes! Good girl points! Evillan. We're not like her. Don't judge us the same way. Claude's voice trails off at the sound of running. His hand quickly moves to the hilt of his sword just as I reach for mine. We only relax when we see Desdurian, Garland, and Delora heading towards us. Why are they alone? Where are the king and queen? They weren't in the prison. I have no idea where else they could be. Delora steps out from between the two of them, her expression somber. This doesn't bode well for us at all. We can't keep sneaking without a direction. That's a sure way to get caught. The words have just left her mouth when the alarm sounds behind us. Don't tell me. It's the alarm. Everyone draws their weapon as Waltz appears, running towards us with a harried expression on his face. The knights are on their way. How did they know we were here? In seconds, I hear the clanking of metal, and then there are knights upon us. We are forced to scatter to deal with different opponents. Oof! A guard rushes at me with his sword, and somehow I manage to block his attack. I should be able to wind around him. The knight follows after I catch him from behind and give Claude an opening to attack him. Evillan! Stay behind me. I promised I would, remember? Let's keep it that way. A smile flashes across his face, and for a few moments he seems more like the Claude that I know. Oof! A knight manages to separate Claude and I, leaving me by myself. He grabs my arm. Unhand me! Ooh, did we cast magic? I watch in shock as the shimmering fog surrounds my attacker, his eyes closing as he slumps to the ground. Oh no, I thought that was Delora. He is only the first to fall. Seconds later, most of the knights in my immediate vicinity have fallen to the ground. I can tell by the subtle rise and fall of their chests that they are asleep. Sorry, I couldn't focus long enough to cast that spell earlier. Delora drops her hands and returns to address Walt, Claude, and I. Head towards the entrance hall. The king must be in one of the central rooms. Durian, Garland, and I will head to the bedchambers in the east wing to look for the queen. Splitting up is not part of the plan. We don't have much of a choice anymore if we're going to get the king and queen out of here. We have to improvise. Now go. Claude grabs my hand and jerks his head at Waltz. Let's go. The three of us rush out and into one of the palace hallways. I keep my gaze forward while Waltz and Claude watch for enemies on either side of us. On our right. Claude grabs his sword and moves before Waltz and I can respond. He dives low towards the soldier, his sword poised straight for a devastating blow. The knights begin to approach us from the left, and I raise my sword, readying myself. Waltz snaps his fingers, a flash of light blinding the men in the immediate vicinity, and I use the opportunity to rush the knights in front of me. I grit my teeth as I attack. Most of my blows are lucky. There are too many knights for me to be able to get the upper hand. There's so many of them. Well, well, if it isn't the most desirable princess. Oof! I whip around to attack the man that spoke to me, but he is nowhere to be found. Where is he? Who are you? I wonder. Evillan! I turn and see Claude running towards me, a panicked expression in his eyes. I take a step towards him when a masked man suddenly blocks my path. Who are you? Are you Fritz? You look like Fritz. Who are you? I raise my sword, but the masked man caps his cane on the floor before I can swing. An incredible pressure blasts out from the cane. It shoves Claude to the floor and blows me backwards. Oof! I hit the wall hard and my vision darkens. Uh-oh. Now's not the time. Now's not the time. Claude. Oof. Where am I? Why can't I see anything? My head hurts. Rise and shine, Sleeping Beauty. I jerked upright at the familiar voice. You're the man who knocked me out. The man laughs and I blink as I try to pinpoint the direction of his voice. Did he blindfold me? I command you to take off this blindfold. I don't take orders from princesses that no one remembers. Oof! But I am a gentleman, so I suppose I'll have to heed a lady's request. The blindfold is abruptly pulled off and I flinch at the sudden brightness. Why, hello there, princess. My captor looks at me amused. He wears a crooked grin on his masked face and a cape on his shoulders. Who is he? My eyes wander to the throne and I cannot help but gasp at what I see. The king is strapped to the throne, hands bound, mouth covered. Your Majesty! The king pauses to look at me, his eyes containing a mixture of alarm and confusion. I turn to glare at the masked man. Let him go! No can do, princess, though. Don't you think he still looks regal sitting on his throne like that? I grit my teeth as I begin to struggle against my bonds. Struggle all you like, you won't get out of those knots anytime soon. Who are you? The masked man drops an elegant bow. I'm called Varg. Okay, hi Varg. Who are you? What's your deal? Are you a witch? You also have yellow eyes. Varg? What have you done to my father? Me? Nothing. Well, nothing much. I guess gagging a person and tying their hands behind their back counts as something. Are you working for Sir Alcaster? I don't work for anyone. So he's a mercenary. The door flies open and Alcaster steps in, his face full of anger. Mithros, the fool! How absolutely useless he was! Varg gives a dismissive shrug. He regards me again with his mischievous smile. While I do agree with that wholeheartedly, that man is in the past. Here, in the present, we have someone far more interesting to deal with. Varg gestures at me. I glare at Varg before turning my gaze to Alcaster. I used to think Alcaster was someone to be respected. Not anymore. If it isn't the princess herself. Oof. You remember who I am? Once Mithros made the connection, it was just too obvious to be false. Could Sir Mithros remember me? Alcaster shifts his attention to the king. Gennaro, do you not remember this girl as your own blood daughter? My eyes meet the king's, but I see no recognition in his gaze. He cannot remember me. I haven't managed to break my curse yet. Why are you doing this to my father, to the kingdom? Everything I do for the kingdom. All successful rulers have run with an iron fist. Fear is the best motivation. That's not true, but okay. A king that is too lenient and does not inspire fear has no business being on the throne. But the people of Angiel love their king. Before I had thought the townspeople were despicable because they hated me. Now I understand those reasons. They may have judged me as mother's daughter, which is wrong, but that does not mean they should be subject to a regime of fear. Your obligation as a ruler is to rule for the country, not the people. Back when the queen was still alive and this place knew the fear of the witches, they were far more productive. Fear motivates. Fear makes a man... King Alcaster. You better have a good excuse for interrupting. Your Highness, there's a beast. Oh, it's Karma! It's Claude! He's come to save us! What are you blathering about, you fool? A beast, a magical beast, is rampaging around the palace. Is this the dead witch's doing? Oof. Dead. Witch? No, Delora is fine. She has to be. Out with it. Did Mithros do this? What? I cannot stop myself from blurting out the question. Sir Mithras is a witch? He was a witch, but now he's dead. He turns to his knight and demands more information. I am too shocked to hear their words. Sir Mithras, a witch? Impossible. What of the other palace intruders? We've managed to apprehend some of them, but we can't get to everyone with that beast taking us out. That damn Mithras, still a pain, even after death. What did you do to Sir Mithras? Did you not hear me, girl? He's dead, killed by my hand. Oh, but why? He was helpful at first. We worked together to achieve our own personal goals. He eyes me cautiously. He wanted you, princess. If Sir Mithras was a witch, that would explain why he still remembers me. Why did he want me? Who knows? It doesn't matter anymore. I gave him my knights to assist him in his search when the witches could not. But in the end, that fool was too power-hungry. You never entered into my plans. You would have been safe, princess, had you just stayed put. But now that you're here, you'll come in handy. Alcaster turns back to the knight, who immediately bursts into explanation once more. The beast is moving quickly. We don't know how much longer we can keep it from this room. There's a beast in the palace, and it's Sir Mithras' doing? I'm so confused. And what about the others? Are they okay? Let me go, Alcaster. You're not going anywhere. It sounds like some of your friends are very persistent. They'll be coming for you, and when they get here, I will kill them. You, princess, are going to make excellent bait. Oof. You know, I like this turn of events. Kind of amusing. You, tell me what all this is. Varg looks unmoved by Alcaster's anger. It is Mithras that summoned this beast, is it not? Then you must know what is happening. You're asking me, of all people? Ha! As if I would be as if I would be able to answer any of your questions. You. Ooh, that sounds like one spooky beast. Varg. It doesn't matter how many times you say my name, Alcaster. I won't have any answers for you. Sir Alcaster turns to me, his eyes manic. Whether this is Mithras' magic or magic belonging to one of your friends, I'm not going to let it live. Could Delora create a beast out of thin air? No, it's Claude. Sir Alcaster draws his sword from his sheath and curses under his breath. I squirm, desperate to find some kind of break in my restraints. Varg surprises me, however, by reaching down and cutting the rope spanning my arms with a sword that I recognize. You have my sword! I stand up as quickly as I can and grab the sword from him. That was too easy. I eye Varg warily as his mouth twists into a smirk. What are you doing? Why are you helping me? Help? All I did was cut some ropes. Besides, I'm curious to see what you'll do with that toothpick of a sword. He talks like he doesn't care at all what happens. Don't think about it too much, princess. It's probably a little too much for your small head. I swing my sword towards him and Varg catches it with his cane. Oof. You really think I'm the one you should be fighting? The door creaks and falls off its hinges. The knights stumble back and I hear screaming as loud footsteps sounds against hall's tiles. So what will you do? Run? Hide? Or will the beast kill you too? The beast isn't going to kill me. I'm not afraid of it. I know who it is. It's my man. My eyes focus on the large figure entering the room. Though I cannot make out specifics at first, the form grows more distinct the further it moves into the room. Whatever this is, I cannot fight it. There is a moment of eerie silence, and Alcaster yells, and the knights rush forward, attacking the beast as a collective. The beast throws them off with surprising nimbleness, his rage in every swipe. I dodge away just before the man's body falls on top of me. Over here, beast! Sir Alcaster rushes at the beast. I finally manage to get a clear line of sight to the king, who is still bound and helpless on the throne. The king! I have to get him out of here. I run towards the throne, but someone stops me dead in my tracks. Saving the king really shouldn't be your priority right now. I grit my teeth and swing my sword at Varg, but he easily darts away from me. I would be watching my back. It is then that I notice the beast is slowly making its way towards me. Why would it be after me? Either way, I stay here and fend it off, or... Alcaster catches the beast with a broad swipe of his sword, and the two are focused once more on each other. I glance urgently at the king, then at the doors. The beast moves again, and I realize it is once more heading towards me. There's no way I can help the king in all this mess. I need help. I have to find the others. Hopefully Alcaster will keep this beast busy long enough for me to get them. I turn and bolt through the room, weaving my way through the chaos of nights as I head towards the door. I glance over my shoulder one last time at the king. His eyes are trained on the battle before him. His hands grip the arms of his throne, but there is nothing he can do. I'm so sorry. I'll be back. But for now, I have to find the others. I dart past the carnage in the room, stepping over and around bodies as they appear. Halfway to the door, the beast lunges past Sir Alcaster, and for a few moments, I think he might be attacking me. Stay back. I hold my sword out in front of me and stand in a defensive position like Claude taught me, but the beast never reaches me. You've ruined everything, beast. Alcaster is suddenly in front of me, waving his sword at the beast. I stumble back towards the door as my heart beating loudly in my chest. I have to get out of here. It's Claude! Recognize him! The beauty and the sinner. Ooh. Where did that beast come from? Oof. Knights immediately rush towards me. I back away as far as I can without re-entering the throne room. Princess, come quietly and we'll keep you somewhere safe until all this dies down. I raise my sword and stand ready when the knights surround me. I order you to stay out of my way. Our apologies, Princess, but we are under orders from the king. Alcaster is not the true king. What did he offer you for your loyalty? Wealth? Status? That is none of your concern. One of the knights moved towards me and I react on instinct, swiping at him. You might want to put that down before you hurt yourself, Princess. Do not antagonize me. One knight rushes me and my blade connects with his shoulder. Another approaches me from behind and I hit him with the back of my sword. The third moves too fast for me and I feel his blade cut into my shoulder. Oof! I hiss at the pain that sings from the wound. I'm bleeding. The next time he swings, I successfully manage to evade him, but then bump into another knight. I'm surrounded. Just come with us, Princess. We don't want to hurt you. No. I feel one of the knights' hand on my shoulder. I attempt to pull away from him, but stop when I hear him scream. It's the beast. The beast stands behind me, eyes narrowed, its mouth gaping wide. A scream escapes my throat. The knights change their focus to attacking the beast, but it easily swipes them away as it advances towards me. It's getting closer. I desperately back up. However, my back soon hits a wall, and with nowhere to go, I stand in the defensive position that Claude has taught me. I hold out the sword and then use it to throw back the beast's shadow claw as he reaches out for me. That stance. It can talk! It talks! Stay away from me. The beast moves toward me again, and I stumble in place, struggling to hold my ground. A knight throws his sword, the blade impaling itself onto the beast's shoulder and giving me an opening. The beast's wounded arm swings into my reach, and I lash out with my sword, managing to draw blood. Princess. Delora would never create a beast like this. This has to be Sir Mithras' doing. An attacking knight catches the beast's attention, and I do not wait. As the beast turns, oh no! I raise my sword and manage to slide it deep into the beast's chest. A piercing cry erupts from somewhere deep in its throat, and I stumble back without my sword, which is still stabbed through the creature's heart. Oh no! Oh no! Claude, are you okay? Oh no! The beast collapsed to the ground. I stare at it as it raises its hand to its chest. That motion reminds me so much of... Right. It was all... an illusion. A glimmer of light catches my eye. I freeze as I stare down at the ground. It's our pendant! It's Claude! Right there, where the blood is already pooling around the sword in the beast's chest, is a rose-shaped locket. The locket I gave Claude. Why do you... The beast stares up at me with glassy eyes, its mouth barely moving. After a few moments, a low rumbling comes from the beast's throat, and I realize it is a grisly, pained chuckle. Afraid of me. I told you. The beast stares at me unblinking, but its eyes are already beginning to haze over. The way it speaks, and the locket it has. I look at the locket again, at the blood seeping beneath the surface. Suddenly I realize... If I ever told you the reason, you would hate me, Evillan, or more accurately, you would be afraid of me. No, no, no! Oh no. I kneel down beside the beast. I... was... wrong. No, no, no! Claude! I clutch the locket to my chest as I kneel over the beast. Claude, no, please! I lean down to listen to him breathing, but there's nothing but silence. Everything around me goes dark. I killed him. There's a sound of footsteps behind me, but they are mute, unimportant. Claude, I'm so sorry. Is he okay? The end? That's not the end! Don't tell me that's the end! Bad end? What the fuck? But god, so many good girl points. Why did we get a bad end? Oh no. Oh no. We got the bad ending. Okay, hold on. Where do we start from? Where do we go? I don't even know. I'm so shocked. Where do we even go from here? We got, oh my god, I can't believe we got Claude's bad ending. Okay, let's start here. You've unlocked the fast forward feature. For the convenience of your future playthroughs, this feature has been activated. With this, you are able to skip ahead to the choices you will have to make, again, as well as unseen dialogue. It's right here on the rightmost corner of the quick menu. Okay, fast forward. Got it. Why would I be afraid of you? You've never done anything frightening before. You aren't a frightening person. The only time you ever frighten me is when you're like this, when you look like you're in pain, when you keep secrets. The secrets are my own selfish desire, but they're for your safety too. You were talking in circles. Why don't you just tell me what's going on? Okay, we're gonna fast forward. We're gonna skip to the next choice. Hopefully this doesn't get us the bad ending. Oh, it does get us the end. Another bad ending. Oh my gosh. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. How did we get the bad end with so many good choices? Did we not get enough of them early on? We got so many of them in the last few scenes.
A few moments later.
Hey guys, JK, we're in back this again. We're gonna do this again. We're gonna get the good ending, and I'm gonna edit it all together. So if you were here for the stream, we're finishing up the rest of the stream. I had to take a break and figure out what I was gonna do, and I needed to make something to eat because I was fucking starving. So now that I'm a little less hangry, we're gonna get back into this, and we're gonna finish Claude's route, which unfortunately means that we have to go all the way back to the beginning. But we have the fast forward feature, so we're going to be able to get through that pretty quickly. So let's transition to this. We'll get this started, and we'll start from the beginning. Would you like to refresh yourself with the basics of playing a Renpy visual novel with our tutorial? No, I don't need the tutorial. Skip this. Evillan. The princess. Yep. We're going to skip through the prologue, and we're going to skip through all these scenes that we've already seen before. We're going to go to the first choice, which is just after we got cursed, so we're still running around town with haggard clothes. So we're going to go left, because that was the right choice. And if I stop now, they'll definitely catch me. It might not be the worst thing they do. A dead end. What do I do? This is not how to treat a lady. Huh? Who's there? It's Claude. Haha, he says. Who are you? Oh, me? I'm just a passing gentleman concerned about a damsel in distress. Now, shall I teach you gentlemen a lesson? He's got a sword. Come back here, you coward. The two of us can take him. I think your friend has the right idea. I'm not the type to show mercy. This is way too much trouble for a little gold. You're right, milady? You found her. The boy from yesterday. A little slow, aren't you, kid? Don't call me that. Do these two know each other? Yes, they do. We're gonna skip to the next choice. Princess. Princess! Lady Parfait will be able to help her. You're right, we need to move before anyone else sees us. So this is gonna put us... Yep, there's our little good girl points. Skip to the next choice. I have no questions. 3 good deeds and I'll get my life back. We need to fast forward to chapter 3. We're gonna go through this again. Skip to the next choice. We don't care about Rod right now. Throw the trident, stay silent. Maybe we should just stay silent. Because I think this is for Rumpel's route. We're gonna skip. Whom should I ask for help? Karma. Whom should I help today? Karma. Looking out a window. You're being quiet today. What a rare sight. Oh, princess. Why would you be surprised to see me? Because it's an honor every time you visit me. Have you come for my advice? I want you to tell me how to do a good deed. My, so straightforward. What is he talking about? It's really simple. You just do something without strings attached. No strings attached? Yes, you do something for someone without asking them to pay you back. It's hard to wrap my head around doing such a thing. Why would I do something without needing to? Have you ever done such a thing for someone before? Of course I have, princess. That was a long pause. It was only a thoughtful one. Right. Is that all? I believe so. That tidbit of wisdom ought to serve you well. We're gonna skip again. Here we go. Alright. Now we need to make our choice. As usual, Fritz and Waltz are locked. We're gonna go with Karma. Secret practices. Okay, so here's where things get interesting and different from how I've done them before. So we're gonna go to the next choice. We're gonna say it's terrible. Oof, what? Most people don't agree with me. It does not make sense for a witch to cast a good curse on you. I guess it doesn't, does it? Thank you, Princess Evillan. Why is he thanking me? Still, it feels like I'm missing something. Is that really the entirety of his curse? We got the good girl points there. Let's keep going. Oh, here's Rumpel in conflict with Karma, so we're gonna stand up for Rumpel. No matter how annoying Rumpel is, I don't think he deserves to be abused so much. Besides, Karma does not usually lash out like this. I move to stand in front of Rumpel. Princess? This is pathetic, Karma. I know you're not in the mood for pleasantries, but that is no excuse to hurt Rumpel. Princess, please move. You're acting like a petulant child. Fine, you're right. I wasn't expecting him to easily admit his mistake. I turned to Rumpel. I was only standing up for you, Rumpel, because Karma is annoying me. I looked in at my necklace, but there's no extra piece. So that wasn't a good deed either. Alright, what's happening over here? Duran comes in to break it up. Oh, nothing, my sweet. I was just showing myself out. Thank you, Princess Evillan. We get our good girl points. After making sure you won't do anything rash again, Duran leaves us. I'm sorry, Princess. It appears I was really being a child. Ooh, yes. Good girl points. Rumpel is harmless, and there was no reason for me to act as uncivilized as I did. What would Father think? Father? Oh, it's nothing, but please, if you would, can you give me some time alone? Fine. We'll give you some time alone. Don't worry about it. Let's see. Oh, this is when we were hearing them do a sword fighting outside. We're gonna stay inside. It may be dangerous. I turn around and see Delora looking at me with amusement flickering in her eyes. Did you come down to visit Mr. Broom or something? I didn't know you two had got so close. We haven't. It was a joke, Princess. You really don't have a sense of humor, do you? I think it is you who does not have a sense of humor. Snappy as a crocodile, as always. So what are you doing down here? Couldn't sleep? Me too. I heard some sounds. I just wanted to see where they were coming from. Sounds? Are you really spooked by some sound from the forest? Or are you just too curious for your own good? We're too curious for our own good, considering how many times we almost got kidnapped. Curiosity killed the cat, you know. I did not ask for your opinion, witch. Well, the both of us could use some fresh air, don't you think? I stare at her in surprise. Yeah, because Karma always wants us to take the safe path, so we need to take the more safe routes with him. Come on, I know a place we can go. Delora and I eventually find ourselves in the forest. Those sounds, it sounds like metal against metal. Well, I guess you being partnered with Karma, you would find out eventually. Excuse me? I get the answer to my question when we walk through the trees and come into a clearing. I finally see where the sounds are coming from. Sword fighting. Skip to the next scene. So this is about Durian and Garland, about how he won't talk to her, so I can see why you wouldn't tell her. Because she's better than me. No, because if you told her and she refused, then it would be difficult afterwards. You understand, princess? Of course I understand. I'm not stupid. No, I didn't mean it like that. Don't take offense, Garland. That's just the way she talks. The princess is a fragile flower with her petals always curved inward. What does that even mean? I know what that means. We're standoffish. See, Julian should probably already know, but I'm just as confused as you are. I don't think so. I don't think anyone understands half the fluff Karma speaks. It's because I weave love and dedication into every single one of my words. There's a beauty in deciphering them. But enough idle chatter, sir. Let us continue our training. Yes. Okay. Now we're at the part with the cupcakes, when Karma went to go get a cupcake for us because we were doing a treat. The last time I picked the cupcake with pearls because I was feeling selfish. We're going to pick the one with the lizard that looks like Karma. I'll have that one. The one with the... Oh my, is that a chameleon? A chameleon? It's a chameleon. Oh, it's adorable, sir. We'll take one of those. I was thinking he liked it for the colors, not the chameleon. Whatever that is. Let's go enjoy it somewhere else, shall we? I want to see what the cupcake looks like. Karma leads me to the middle of the plaza and the two of us find a table. He walks off to get a fork and knife before returning and handing a set to me. Do we really need a knife and fork to eat a cupcake? So before we got to your dress and you distracted me with cupcakes, we were talking about your curse. Were we? It's not an interesting topic. I was glad you got off that tangent, honestly. You have your secrets just as I do. I want to see the cupcake. We've been helpful, good company. There we go. Oh, that's adorable. Look at the little chameleon on that cupcake. It's cute. I like it. The frosting is the same as the last time. That's cute. Okay, next choice. Karma cuts the chameleon on top in half. I notice that he gives himself the head, which is a lot cuter, while I get stuck with the tail. Chameleons are little lizards that can blend into their surroundings. Is he willing to go this far to avoid the subject? When I was a child, my father used to call me a chameleon. What? I hid a lot to avoid responsibilities. Oftentimes, no one could find me, not my father nor the servants. If he had servants, then that makes him a noble? One day I was out searching for a mythical creature in our garden, and I came upon the chameleon. It was the small, silly lizard, but I'd only found it because I was looking for something fantastic. The lizard on the cupcake does not seem all that fantastic. My father explained what it was to me, and then he started calling me his silly little chameleon. It was ridiculous, but he said I was always very good at hiding, and so it suited me. What is it, princess? It seems like you're still good at hiding. You hide behind your disguise and keep many secrets. I suppose I'm still a chameleon, then. I don't think that nickname makes any sense. Sometimes they don't have to. Nicknames don't have to make sense to be endearing, princess. Can we please just get back to the subject at hand? Yes, this cupcake. Alright. Okay, this is when he gets, his voice drops. And so we attempted to leave with Karma last time because we wanted to get him out of that situation. But now we're going to tease the shit out of Karma. He obviously wants to leave, but I cannot help myself. Miss Karma, I do wish you'd say something. At the very least, you should thank this girl for her compliment. Oh no, it's quite alright. Come on, Karma, you're usually the most charming person on these streets. Thank you. He sounds like he's dying now. I cannot help but start laughing again. The small annoyance on Karma's face seems to dissipate completely. Yeah, he can't stay mad at us. We're leaving. He takes my hand and curtsies politely to the girl as he pulls me away. Alright, let's see. This is when we almost got kidnapped. So we're gonna fight back this time instead of waiting for an opening. I have to fight back. Maybe I can still draw people's attention to me. I try to squirm my way out of the man's arms, but it does not work. He chuckles lightly at me until I elbow him in the stomach. For a few moments that I am free, I try to run, but all too soon the man grabs me again with the same punishing grip over my mouth and nose to stop me from screaming. You're a real feisty one, aren't you? I feel like I might faint. In one last attempt to get free, I tug at the man's hand with my own and manage to shift it just enough until I can bite down on it. Ow! The man screams in pain, his grip finally loosening. I can hear him curse as I run away from him. few minutes later, I realize that I've gone in the wrong direction. I soon come to a dead end in the alleyway, and I can hear the man running up behind me. What is this I see before me? It's Karma! I look up to see Karma standing on the rooftop right above us in his disguise, holding a sword and a broad grin on his face. Alright, so we escaped from being kidnapped. I saw you fight back. That was a very admirable attempt. You saw me? Yes, you were coming to the end of the alleyway. But I didn't manage to escape. It doesn't matter, Princess. You certainly made the effort. But I digress. You are quite welcome, Princess. It was my pleasure. Alright. Okay, now we're doing his makeup. The thing that we notice the most is their lips. Which is weird. I picked eyes last time because I think Karma's eyes are beautiful, but I guess we're going with lips. Despite myself, I find my gaze dropping into Karma's lips. Why do I feel like I'm walking into a trap? The lips? My, Princess, I didn't think I'd ever hear you say that you looked at my lips when I smiled. I did not say that. Oh, but you did, and Princess, I do believe you are blushing. Even though Karma never said he was referring to his features, I'd thought about his lips anyways. The thought makes my heart flop, though I do not have the faintest idea why. Anyway, I agree, though eyes are important, a smile isn't quite as brilliant without the lips. Without the lips? I try to imagine a smile without lips and shudder. Sorry, Princess, I misspoke. Try to dispel that image from your mind. Anyway, I'll let you choose the order of things. Okay, we finish up with his makeup. Okay, this is when we get caught at the other tavern and the soldiers tried to take us in. So we're going to try to convince them, as we did before. We're going to fast forward a bit, because we've already been through this section. This is when Karma is training us, I think. So he gets too close, so we're going to step away from him. Take a step away from him and Karma's hands fall from my shoulders. He sighs out. The story better be just as dramatic as mine. Thank you, Evillan. For what? For agreeing to listen. And for what you just did. Stepping away from him? Was I distracting him? Once upon a time... Okay, this is when he tells us he's the Crown Prince. So, our next choice is going to be whether he's going to tell Jurian or not. And you have to tell Jurian. Confessing is hard, but what Garland is going through looks even harder. Yeah, he needs to confess to her. So we set them up with the date, and that goes well. We're going to try to bite Karma's hand because he's trying to spook us. So I'm going to feel terrible about this, but I have to try. I tried to shift my head to get enough space to bite down, and even Claude cannot hold me completely still as I squirm. Eventually, but we falter because we don't want to bite the hand that is injured. So we're going to skip through that part. Claude does not look okay at all. Last time we comforted him. This time we're going to scold him because he shouldn't be acting rude. Doesn't matter if something's bothering him. It isn't like him to be so rude. Irritation is no excuse for rudeness. Fine, I apologize. Happy? No. He looks at me for a few moments, his expression twisted into a defiant scowl, but it doesn't hold long. Moments later, his expression softens, and he looks away, almost in shame. I'm sorry. This apology sounds real, but still, why do I feel so disappointed? Silence descends for a few moments before Claude abruptly stands up from his table. Excuse me. Claude turns briskly and heads upstairs, leaving me with the two knights. Let's see. We're gonna run errands first before we go get a good present for Claude. We're gonna pick that thing. Let's see. We've come to talk with him, not to give him something. I came to give him something, but I also want to speak with him. I haven't seen Claude in a while. Why? Because you've been doing everything by yourself lately? You came to complain? No, I wanted to check on you. Princess, can you not read the mood? You could have, at the very least, knocked. Ooh. In no time... Okay, yeah, this is when he's kind of pressuring us. And he's getting angry. Is this Claude? Point our sword at him. Because I know it's him, I also know what you want me to do. Yeah, he wants you to react. Point your sword at him. We still want a hug. Huh? Yep, we still want a hug. Hugs are good. Skip forward more. We're gonna say thank you. We're gonna skip forward more. We're getting close to the end. I want to talk to you. About what? Claude takes a step back and I stare at his hand absently moves to his chest. Are you really okay, Claude? I've been perfectly fine this past week. He's lying. He's obviously in pain. Why do you have to keep your pain a secret? Huh? Why won't you talk to me? I've told you before that some things are better kept a secret, princess. Claude sighs out and then leans forward to set a hand on my head. Yep. Okay. We are going to promise to stay behind him. And then we are going to say, I could never be afraid of you. And this should get us the good end for Claude. So let's see. What is there to be afraid of? Claude wears a pained expression as he looks at me. I see him once again grabbing at the collar of his dress, looking like he's in some kind of quiet agony. That's what she said too. Is he talking about the one woman from before? The one who didn't love him? He thinks I'm the same? I am not like her. Oof. Evillan. Claude's voice trails off at the sound of running. His hand moves quickly to the hilt of his sword just as I reach for mine. We only relax when we see that it is Durian, Garland, and Delora heading towards us. Why are they alone? Where are the king and queen? They weren't in the prison. Ugh. I have no idea where else they could be. Delora steps out from between the two of them, her expression somber. This doesn't bode well for us at all. We can't keep sneaking without a direction. That's a sure way to get caught. The words have just left her mouth and the alarm sounds behind us. Don't tell me. It's the alarm. Everyone draws their weapons as Waltz appears, running towards us with a harried expression on his face. The knights are on their way. How did they know we were here? In seconds I hear the clanking of metal and then there are knights upon us. So we're gonna get kidnapped, or not kidnapped. Well, yeah, we are getting kidnapped again. So here we are, Chapter 10, The Beauty and the Beast. Where did the beast come from? Knights immediately rush towards me. I back away as far as I can without re-entering the throne room. Princess, come quietly and we'll keep you somewhere safe until all this dies down. I cannot take them all at once. Even knowing that I still pull out my sword. I take a few steps back and then suddenly feel my back pressed up against something. The beast stands behind me, its back to me. I stand in its shadow and I realize that if it turns around, it could swat me to the walls just like the rest of its victims. But it's just standing there. Together. Together. The beast says nothing more, though I still feel on edge. There's something oddly familiar about this. Claude once told me that it was better to fight back to back. I will trust you for now, whatever you are. This is good. This is different. I do not know if it understands me, but I can hope. It seems more like a human than any kind of animal. Yeah, 'cause it's Claude. Princess, get away from the beast. It will... The knight never finishes a sentence as the beast sends him flying through the air. Why is it helping me? The knights fall like dominoes to the beast, but manage to remain standing when I strike them with my sword. Even just taking one down is so hard. These men have been trained for years, while I haven't had the luxury of a year. Out of the corner of my eye, I sense movement. I see a gleam of silver and hear a grunt as a sword is raised into the air. The sword is nowhere near reaching me, but... The beast! I aim to kick at an approaching knight before whirling around to look at the beast. The oncoming sword comes closer to the beast's exposed back, and I know the beast will not be able to dodge in time. Move! I shove past the creature and catch the knight's sword with my own before it can harm the beast. My arms are shaking underneath the strength of the impact between our swords. I feel like my arms are going to give out. Then a flash of light appears, so bright that everyone is temporarily blinded. I stumble back, rubbing at my eyes. From the sounds of it, the beast is continuing to drive back the knights, most of them shouting to each other to retreat. What was that? When I'm finally able to see again, my eyes land directly on my feet. I stare in shock. We got our good deed! We saved his life, so we got our slippers. Glass slippers? I quickly reach up to my pendant and realize that it's no longer there. I completed my 3 good deeds? Evillan. It knows my name? I look around and realize that the beast and I are alone, the knights having fled. Did the beast drive off the rest of them? I feel a pressure at my back and realize that the beast is touching me. My first instinct is to run, but the words it utters next paralyze me. You okay? Every word sounds breathless and pained, like it takes too much to speak. Is it worried about me? I watch in shock as the beast appears to gesture towards my shoes. You did it. I step back warily. What are you? The beast reaches out and I see something glittering in the palm of its hand. It's the rose pendant. The rose locket. For a few moments, my heart plummets into my stomach and my hands begin to quiver. What did you do to Claude? The beast's shadow's fingers curl over the locket even as he stares at me. Gave me. I gave that locket to Claude. The beast only stares at me for a few moments longer, and then suddenly I realize that his words, nothing more than a pained growl, do not hold any malice. I gave that locket to you? The beast slowly nods. My grasp of my sword loosens as I stare at him in shock, realization dawning upon me. Claude? Yes. So this is your secret? Why would you not tell me? I knew he had a beast mode secret. I could have hurt you. We did in our last playthrough. We killed you. Oh my goodness. I'm still reeling from that, how we got that bad end. Oh my god, it was so surprising. I didn't even know what to do. Claude has another form, a cursed form, and he never told me. Why? As my mind whirls, I feel everything coming together like pieces of a puzzle. Secrets are secrets for a reason, princess. You should know that. If I could speak on them, I would, but I can't. Evillan, I wish I could explain. You would hate me, or more accurately, you'd be afraid of me. All those times Claude was clutching at his chest. You were touching your tattoos so many times before, like you were in pain. The beast growls, and the sound is surprisingly soft, almost a sigh. Curse. Then the tattoo was a warning. The first time I saw that tattoo, it was a beautiful rose. The second time, it had more thorns. When the rose became ensnared in thorns, did he transform? And he always touched his tattoo when he came too close to me. Claude, your curse did not just make others fall in love with you. It stopped you from loving anyone too, didn't it? Ah, he mentioned that woman before, the one he thought loved him but didn't. Is it possible that she saw him in this form and was terrified of him? But if you loved anyone, you would turn into a beast. Ah. You loved a woman once, but she only loved you because of your curse. The minute you transformed, she was scared of you, wasn't she? Yes. He sounds so pained. The reason Claude has been trying to hide everything from me is because he's scared that I would have feared him. That is why beauty has always been so important to him, but the curse cast upon him makes him both beautiful and a beast. I wanted you to love me. Aw, but no one could love a beast. His words are dwindling. It almost sounds like he's being suffocated on the inside with how slowly he's speaking. Claude, I've never cared much about appearances. People have worn masks on their faces their whole life around me. Claude, I take a deep breath and face him. I will love you, no matter what form you take. I drop my sword to the ground and make my way over to him. I rest my cheek on his chest and wrap my arms around him. I love you. Aww. The room is filled with a bright but gentle light. It almost feels like I'm bathing in sunlight. For a few moments, I forget my worries. Everything feels blissful and quiet, and my heart feels full. Then, moments later, I feel warm arms wrap around my waist. I love you too, Evillan. It's Claude! When I open my eyes, I still can't see anything, even though I know that the light has faded. That warmth is still there too, but now I feel it immediately on my skin, and I realize it's because Claude is hugging me. Not as a beast, but as a man. Did I break his curse? I realize this is the first time Claude has ever touched me for a long period of time without abruptly moving away. Tentatively, I move my hands, feeling the fabric of his shirt and the warmth of him underneath it. Claude. But before I can finish my sentence, my lips are sealed. I feel Claude's lips on mine, only briefly, but it is enough to make me suddenly feel faint. He pulls away from me with a brilliant smile. I've always wanted to do that. Ugh. Evillan, you're blushing. If I could, I would kiss you again, but we have some urgent things to attend to. The reality of the situation begins to seep back into me. My father, Varg, Alcaster, they're all still in the throne room. The king! Let's go, Evillan. Yeah, let's get it. When Claude and I rush into the throne room, my attention is immediately grabbed by the king calling my name. Evillan! Oh, now you remember me! He's still bound to the throne, though his gag is removed. A rush of relief floods through me. He's alive, and he remembers me. My gaze is drawn to the two men battling at the base of the throne. Their swords are locked together in a stalemate. Alcaster and... Fritz? What has happened here? This is not how you gain power. I knew you would be a thorn in my side from the moment I concocted this plan. Where is Varg? The only one here is me, and I will... Fritz's concentration slips as his eyes land on me. The opening is small, but is enough to give Alcaster the opportunity he needs. Watch out! Claude is already running over to help, but even he is too slow. Alcaster disarms Fritz before driving his sword through Fritz's chest. What? That's your son, bro? Oh no, this is awful. Oh no. No! Alcaster pulls the sword out of Fritz's chest just fast enough to deflect Claude's attack. As Claude drives Alcaster away from the throne, I rush to where Fritz has collapsed to the ground. His eyes are already growing glassy. Fritz! I lean over him. There's so much blood. I glare at Alcaster. How could you do this to your own son? Anyone in my way will meet my sword. Blood does not matter. Princess. Ugh. I turn back to Fritz in alarm, tears in my eyes. Fritz, hold on. Don't speak. You need to conserve your energy. Princess, I'm sorry. Fritz, please don't. Don't speak. I feel bitter tears stinging my eyes. I'm sorry. I watch as the life seeps from Fritz's eyes. I put my hand to his chest to feel for a heartbeat, but Fritz's body is still. Fritz! I glance up at the sound to see Claude at the far side of the room, struggling to get to his feet. Evillan, watch out! I turn, but I'm not fast enough. I see Alcaster's sword raised high in the air, and I know it will reach me before I can pick up my sword. Ugh. The sword falls from Alcaster's hand as a bright red ribbon of light twines around the hilt and drags it far from his reach. I turn to see Dolores standing a short distance away. Jurian and Garland and Waltz are all standing behind her. I'm afraid your performance as king has been incredibly disappointing. Jurian and Garland move together, rushing Alcaster from the same side. I see Claude moving in on the other side, quiet and lethal. Princess! Waltz and Delora rush over to me as the fighting continues. Alcaster has reclaimed his sword and is trying to evade attacks from the 3 different swords at once. The king! Waltz nods to me, his gaze lingering on Fritz as his expression becomes solemn. He walks off to the throne while Nora kneels beside me. Delora! Delora shakes her head, and that is all I need to know, that there is nothing more to be done. We will make sure he is properly honored, but for now we need to get you out of here. What about Ophelia? Waiting for us somewhere safe, I constructed a shield around her that will keep her hidden from view and harm until we return for her. Weren't we meant to bring the royal family back to the Merchant first? Not when we're missing the king. Besides, plans change when a magical beast starts rampaging in the castle. Princess! I turn to look at Alcaster, who is somehow managing to scream my name despite the fact that he's being quickly overwhelmed. Princess, we could have worked together! If you were more like your mother, you could have ruled with grace, beauty, and fear. I flinch back, and Dolores' hands come to rest on my forearms, her grip steadying. That is enough. I look up and see the king has stopped to stand beside me. To my surprise, the king rests a gentle hand on my shoulder, his eyes soft as he looks at me. Evillan, we have a lot to talk about, but right now I have something I must do. I nod mutely and watch as the king draws his sword. He makes his way to Alcaster. Jurian, Garland, and Claude step back from where they have forced Alcaster to one knee. You are a traitor lacking any honor, Alcaster. You are the one that lacked honor. A ruler must have the people beneath his thumb. A ruler must lead people, not suffocate them. His oath as king is to protect them. You are no king, Alcaster. For your crimes, I find you guilty and incapable of rehabilitation. The sentence of the severity of your crimes is death. The king raises his sword and I turn away before he strikes down his sword. There is no sound or scream to follow. I turn once more to see that the king has pointed the sword at Alcaster's chest but has not killed him. You will stay in the prisons until the time for your trial comes. Though you might try to refute these claims, you will be tried as a traitor to this kingdom, and then you will be executed. Alcaster's shoulders fall. The glare never leaves his face, not even when the guards seize him and drag him from the room. The king immediately sends Jurian and Garland out to deal with any knights that are still part of the coup. Delora and Claude help moving Fritz's body, while Waltz tries his best to fill the king in on the most basic points of our successful operation. Everything has died down a little bit over the last hour, but I still feel overwhelmed. I glance at Waltz and the king, who are still speaking. Every time the king sees me looking at him, he flashes me an uncertain smile before glancing away. I know he wants to speak with me, but I will talk to him after I can get Fritz's body out of my mind. It was my fault he died, wasn't it? He saw me and stumbled. Hey, princess. What are you doing here? Here, I thought you changed, but you still got some feistiness in you, don't you? Many years ago, when the war ended, we were all faced with a feeling just like this, princess. We had lost so much, and the future seemed so grim. But now it's different. You have a future. You broke your curse, princess. That gives you some kind of hope. And in addition, you broke Karma's. Memories of Claude's arms around me, his lips on mine, come flying back to my foggy mind. My heart still feels tight, but it is a little lighter when I think about him. I wish he was here right now. How did I break Claude's curse? Claude, I don't think I'll ever get used to his real name. Seems like he hasn't told you yet. I guess it's been pretty hectic. So Claude turned into a beast because he loved me? Well, I guess I could give you the laydown of his curse. Stop! Desist! Delora has not even started to speak when Claude runs into the room, gasping as if he's been running through the halls. Curse! Are you speaking about my curse? There is no way he heard us talking in the hallway, is there? Even I feel at a loss for words right now. I sense that you might be talking about me. The princess was just asking me about your curse. Oh, then I was right to come running, and here I was just guessing at what you might be talking about. Claude's curse was based off the tale, the beauty, and the beast. I was right! Claude easily finishes her sentence. Delora holds up her hands as if in surrender. So eager to steal the spotlight. Well, you are talking about me, after all. You always told me that your curse was just the beauty's curse, though. Well, yes, because the other half was a little difficult to explain, wasn't it? He has a point, though I think he might be able to save us all some trouble if he hadn't been so secretive about his curse. He must have really been scared that I would shun him. Allow me to explain, princess. In the fairy tale, a prince of a kingdom is transformed into a beast because his heart is as cold as ice. Sounds familiar to a certain icy princess, eh? Just trying to lighten the mood. Claude sighs. I would call Evillan something far more flattering, like my sweet, beloved. We were talking about your curse. Oh, right. Well, anyway, the witch who cursed the prince in the tale tells him that he has to learn to love and be loved before the petals of a rose completely fall off. A rose? Yes, she gives him a rose and he keeps it protected under glass. Some time passes and the rose continues to wither away. A maiden finds the beast and eventually the two fall in love. At the end of the tale, she confesses her love to the beast and he transforms back into a human. By confessing, I saved you? But his curse was different from the tale. I know what you're thinking, that my curse was somewhat different. It was more complicated. The witch made it so that I was both the beauty and the beast. She said it suited me because I was so vain. The witch constructed a very roundabout curse. Any woman who falls for me falls in love with me as the beauty. And when I transformed into a beast, the enchantment would break and they would become terrified of me. I see. I doubt Claude ever thought he would break his curse. The love woman felt for him while he was cursed was always fake. But how could that kind of love hold strong when he turned into a beast if it was never true to begin with? Then you came along, princess. I bet he'd just about given up hope and was waiting for you to dispel the curse on your birthday. But now, here you both are. But the Ice Princess, in love? What a miracle. I turn away, embarrassed. It's not a miracle. I'm very glad I met you, Evillan. Lady Delora's words are the truth. I had just about given up hope. I had never had any hopes of breaking my curse. I just thought that the only way to fix it was to have you dispel it on your birthday. But then I came to know you, and he fell in love. A fairy tale indeed. You started out frowning at everyone and everything. You've come quite a long way, princess. Congratulations, you turned out to be a pretty okay princess. And you turned out to be a pretty okay witch. Do my ears deceive me? A compliment from our little witch? Ugh. You look so surprised, but you'll be the new bearer of our crystal real soon, princess. I expect good things from you. Right, I almost forgot about that part. I'll try my best. Yet another miraculous proclamation from the little witch. Will the surprises never cease? Before I can snap at Delora again, the king awkwardly interjects, coming to stand next to us with Waltz by his side. Pardon the intrusion. Oh, not at all, your majesty. Waltz told me that you were cursed. That's why I forgot about you. Yes. Even if it was by a curse, I feel terrible that such a thing could have ever happened. So I will make it up to you. We can catch up from where we were many, many years ago, and maybe things can be different. I'm sorry. What for? For being the way that I was before, for shunning Ophelia and her children. Oh, Ophelia, did they bring her back to the Marchen? Ophelia is still here. After the fight was over, she was shown back to her room. She's still waiting for Rod and Evillan to return. Now, would you maybe be telling me the story from the beginning? Perhaps I could fill in the gaps, your majesty. Claude? The king looks startled when he stares at Claude. He blinks as if he's just noticed his presence. Oh, and you are? Claude elegantly bows before the king. I am Prince Claude of Brigantia. A pleasure to finally meet you, your majesty. The lost prince? The king turns to me with a puzzled look. It's a long story. Claude surprises me by wrapping an arm around my shoulders and pulling me closer to him. Everyone looks shocked, except for Delora, who looks like she's trying not to laugh. As the princess's lover, I feel it is my obligation to help her explain this whole mess. I feel my face getting hotter as Claude's sudden proclamation. All their eyes are now on me, and I suddenly feel like hiding myself. If only Claude would so bluntly say such a thing. Oh, only Claude would say so bluntly such a thing. The king looks more shocked than anything. When did this happen? Well, your majesty, I think we'd better start at the beginning. We were able to tell the king everything, save for where Varg had disappeared to. No one was sure where he had gone in all the chaos. The night's search for him all ended in failure. Yeah, he was a surprising bad guy that kind of came in and was very neutral. That was really weird. A lot of explaining had to be done, not just to the king, but also to the people at the tavern. As soon as everything is calmed down, Rod and Evillan finally went back to the palace. I apologized to them as best as I could, and they all seemed willing to try again with me. And I'm willing to try again too. As for Claude... So you're going back? Are you sure you don't want to come to Brigantia with me, just for a short holiday? I would love nothing more than to introduce you to my family. Mother would shower you with gifts. Father will tease you, probably. He makes jokes frequently. And Llama... What did you just say? Llama? He has a pet llama? My brother, Llama. What? Another acronym. We're Karma and Llama. Does your father do these things on purpose? I told you, he likes jokes. My brother's real name is Lance. I was going to bring you back and introduce the two of you. And you could tell my little brother how very charming I am. Is it just my imagination, or is there a glimmer of competition in his eyes? As much as I would like to meet your family, you have your own obligations here, and you need to let your family know that you are safe and alive. But the thought of being separated from you... Claude sighs before he leans down and plants a kiss on my forehead. I'll miss you. You won't be gone that long. Love, that's not how you're supposed to respond. You're supposed to say, my sweet prince, I will miss you too. Fine then, I'll miss you. Maybe. Claude raises an eyebrow at me and then smiles. I'll be back for your birthday. I love you, Evillan. It has only been a few weeks since Claude left, but I am impatient. The king has been throwing grand dinners every night in preparation for my birthday, but I can hardly concentrate on anything else when I am thinking of Claude. I told him about all of the smaller birthday celebrations. I thought he would be here for them. My birthday is in a few days. When will he come back? I tried to make myself busy, mainly by continuing my sword practices with Jurian and Garland, who have both rejoined the Order of Caldera. Every time I am around the knights, I think of Fritz. I shall bring some new flowers tomorrow. If Claude were just returned already, we could go pay our respects together. Look who it is! It's Claude! Hello, Evillan, my love, my sunshine, my beautiful betrothed. Claude? I shake my head and try to gather my thoughts. First of all, you did not knock. Second, we are not engaged. We may as well be, don't you think? At the very least, knock before you come in. Still worried I would come in on you in the middle of changing? Would you have minded so terribly? Yes. It's worth saying those things to you just to see you blush. Why are you even here? His arrival is so sudden and I absolutely had no time to prepare. Claude sighs dramatically. You didn't want me back here? No, I mean, you didn't even right to say you'd be back today. I just wasn't expecting you. I did say I'd be back for your birthday. I'm a man of my word. Should I have stayed out longer? No, of course not. I grumble as Claude walks over to my bed, grinning. He sits down on the bed next to me and wraps an arm around my waist, pulling me closer. I sigh out and lean my head on his shoulder. It is a startling contrast to what it used to be. Before, if I touched him, he would flinch and turn away from me. Now he is always right next to me. Claude's whole body seems to relax when I tentatively wrap my arms around him and hug him back. I knew I would miss you, but it really was terrible being away from you. But you enjoyed the time with your family. I did, and my brother was very frustrated that I spoke about you almost every hour of the day. How could you have that much to say about me? Oh, I felt that I didn't have enough time to list off all your virtues. I nudge him in the arm, but he just grins at me. A glint from Claude's pocket catches my eye, and I flush proudly when he had noticed the rose locket. Looking at the locket makes me think back to that night when he was transformed back into a prince. Lost in thought, are we? I was just noticing the locket. You still carry it around with you. Of course I do. It's become my most valuable possession. He pulls the little locket out and pops it open. I'm startled when I see the small sheet of paper with my own words on it. My message to him is still there. Claude smiles as he reads the words aloud. A normal rose would have withered, so I offer this one instead, in heartfelt thanks. I say nothing when he turns to look at me. Oh ho, your cheeks are red again. Your embarrassment is adorable, darling. I'm not embarrassed. I just didn't think he'd keep the words in there, or that they would ever mean so much to him. Yes, of course, you just have exceptionally rosy cheeks, He pauses as he closes the locket again and looks at it fondly. I love this locket because it is the first gift you gave me. He was holding the locket as the beast, too. It was half the reason I recognized him. I jump as Claude gently taps my nose with his finger. This locket isn't going anywhere anytime soon, I can assure you. I smile as he winks at me. Anyway, allow me to pull you back into the present. Since I promised you no more secrets, let me tell you something. Oh? Claude looks away from me, his eyebrows furrowing, and I frown. I hope it's nothing serious. I'm nervous about sitting down to dinner with your father tonight. You're nervous? I start laughing without meaning to. You're laughing at my pain, princess? He pulls me closer and kisses the top of my head. But you were too flamboyant to be nervous. I'm confident, princess, not flamboyant. There's a difference. Right. Claude's expression grows more solemn. He looks at me seriously, almost sadly. Evillan, I'm still sorry about lying to you. That whole time I made myself up to be someone beautiful, someone I wasn't. I believed I truly was a good person on the inside, and that I deserved good things, even though I was selfish. He's already apologized to me before, too many times. Claude, you do not have to apologize. No, that witch was right to curse me. I've always had everything handed to me on a silver platter. When I came to Angel, I believed that if I was going to help break my curse, it wasn't important. And then I met you. At first I thought I would just have to get on your good side so you could help me dispel my curse, but then, Evillan, I realized I was drawn to your confidence and commitment. But I never could admit that I was in love with you. I was so scared that if I transformed into a beast and you were scared of me, I would lose my chance at winning your heart. So you see, princess, I was selfish. I wanted all of you without having to give you all of me. I look down at where our hands were intertwined and I grip his fingers tighter. I've told you enough times now that you have nothing to apologize for. But if you insist on apologizing, maybe you ought to do something to make it up to me. Those words are out of my lips before I can even think them. I stop suddenly, trying to ignore the hot flush in my cheeks. Claude looks at me puzzled, and for a few minutes I feel triumphant that I have caught him off guard. Then the puzzled look fades and Claude just grins at me. Oh my, so forward. Forward? I open my mouth to apologize when he suddenly grabs my hands and tugs me down to the bed. Whoa, we're on Twitch here, guys. We can't be doing nothing naughty. The instincts Claude taught me in my sword fighting are quickly overwhelmed by my surprise, and in no time at all, he has me pinned down to the bed and is looming over me, smiling. Cute. I'm disappointed. Princess, you knew my weakness and you didn't even exploit it there. Your weakness? Yes. He leans closer to me and our noses almost touch. My weakness is you, Evillan. Aww, how sweet. He leans down and our lips finally meet. I relax into the contact, my earlier tension melting away as warmth flows through me. He pulls away and smiles at me. You see, I let my guard down in front of you. I let my guard down in front of him, too. On only him. This whole time, all I wanted to do is be able to touch him like this. His fingers move gently up my arm, and he leans down to kiss me again. Knock, knock, knock. The sound of knocking startles us both. A muffled voice comes through the door. Princess, the king is requesting your presence down in the dining hall. He says that your friends have arrived. Oh. Princess? You hear the doorknob begin to turn and quickly speak. Yes, I'll be there in a minute. I will let him know, Princess. First the curse and now this. It's as if the world is conspiring against us. He kisses me once more on the forehead before slowly sitting up and running a hand through his hair. I catch the mischievous look in his eyes as I smooth down my own ruffled hair. Don't worry, Evillan, we'll just finish this later. I feel my cheeks flush. You say such uncouth things. Claude chuckles before he stands up and offers his hand. I take it and smile up at him. I love you, Evillan, and now I get to say it as many times as I like. I love you too, Claude. I stand up on my toes to plant a quick kiss on his lips before heading to the door. Let's go, Claude. Wonderful. We got the good ending. Thank God. I really needed that. It took so long. I was so flabbergasted when we got the bad end and I didn't know what to do. So it seems like with every choice there's a right and a wrong choice, and we need to pick the right choices every time in order to get the good ending. So all those saves I was making, like, were helpful, but when we pick another person, we're gonna have to go through and make sure that we get all the right choices. So, oh my goodness. That took so long. We finally finished Claude's ending. How good. Good job, Ren P. This was great. Good job, everybody working on this team. It was a fantastic game. I absolutely loved it. I could not get enough of it. I had to stream more today because I was so excited. And then, after I ended the last stream a couple minutes ago, I had to come back to it because I was just so frustrated that I didn't get his good ending. So, oh my goodness, that took some time. I knew that Claude was the beast, but I was so frustrated when she slashed him and then she ended up killing him. That was horrible. So I'm glad we got this ending where the two are happy. It's so good. Good job, guys. Good job, Kyrie34. All the Kickstarter backers. Perfect. So many people. Thank you for playing Cinderella Phenomenon. Wonderful. So good. Alright guys, this is what's going to be actually the end for today. I know it was got left a little hanging when I had to go take a break to get something to eat. Shouldn't have closed the stream like that. I should have just finished up Karma's good ending. But when I edit this video together for the VODs, it'll be a little bit different. So, thanks for coming back and sharing this moment with me, guys. I really appreciate it. I'm so glad that we finished Claude's ending. Oh, look! And now we have Claude as a figure on the front screen. So, perfect. I'm so sad that Fritz died. That was so horrible. I didn't know what to do about that. Hopefully we can get his playthrough now, though. We still have Fritz and Waltz locked, so we'll have to do Rumpel or Rod next time. I feel a little weird about doing Rod's playthrough because he's our stepbrother, but I don't know. We'll have to see. So interesting. Oh my gosh. Anyways, thanks for joining me, guys. I'll see you guys later next time. And don't forget to go check out the VODs channel at YouTube /@princessevillanvods. Thanks, guys. I'll see you later. Bye for now.